Okay, so my name is Claire. My favourite animal, I love cats. So cats are great. Dogs too, but I think I prefer cats. And a movie recommendation. I'm going to say, I'm thinking about animation, okay? So I think Turning Red. Have you seen Turning Red? I don't know what it is in German, but it's really good. It's really funny. You are never ever too old for good kids TV, because I think what happens when you watch kids TV when you're a kid, you love it and you laugh and maybe you cry sometimes and it stays with you. But if it's really good kids TV, and that's what we're trying to do, trying to make really good kids TV, then even when you're an adult, you'll watch it and you'll still laugh and you'll still cry and you'll still smile. Ooh, that's a great question. I think that more adults should. I agree with that. I think more adults should watch kids' TV. And I think the reason why is because there's lots of people here, definitely here and all across the world, that want to make kids' TV that shows kids' lives and puts it on TV. And adults can only do that because we're the ones with the jobs, right? But if adults want to know what kids' lives are really like, then they should watch kids' TV. Yes. So I am a development producer and I work at a company in Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. And I work at a company called Paper Oil Films. And we basically take ideas for shows and we try and get people to give us money to make them. And we make sure our story and all of that is right. So I worked in development, so I made sure that all the story and all the lovely visuals were coming together, and I made sure that I helped the team to write it and to get the story right and get all the lovely visuals right, and I helped to make sure people wanted to buy it and people wanted to put it on their TV screens. But there was lots of people involved, so I was just one of lots and lots. Yes, so I have lost a grandparent. I think most people probably lost a grandparent. And I was probably about the age that Saul was as well. Now, I wasn't the one that came up with the idea. I work with a lovely lady called Grania McGuinness, and it was Grania's original idea. She's the creator of the show. And I suppose we wanted to tell a story about grief in childhood, because it's something that it's scary and it's hard, but everybody loses somebody at one point. So it's also really, really important. So that's where the story came from, and that's where the thinking came from. So the darkness represents the kind of darkness that we all feel when we lose somebody. So if you lose somebody to grief, you probably feel very sad, very angry, very confused, and it can feel very, very overwhelming. So that's why we use darkness, because darkness also can be overwhelming. But the thing about darkness is there's always light if you look for it. So this film is about Saul looking for that light and bringing out that light and making sure that light stays alive. Because if you look for the light in the darkness, then that can help you. That can help you through that situation. Okay? Yes, it is. If you watch the movie, do you guys know the word Celtic? Yeah, no, it's a tricky word. But if you know the word Celtic, so there's a lot of Celtic, this is just another word for kind of Irish. There's a lot of Celtic music throughout it. And if you watch the movie, there's a lot of Celtic symbols. So they're all hidden in the background if you look for the Celtic symbols. And the other thing is that at the end, Saul goes towards this ancient site in Ireland called Stonehenge. So that's a very important site in Irish mythology, and that's something that's been there for, that's ancient. That's been there for years and years and years. But yeah, Celtic symbols, Celtic music, and Stonehenge. It's all through that movie. Oh, my mind's gone blank now. That's a good one. My mind's gone blank. Do you know what that means? My mind's just I don't know. What's my favourite word? Well, do you know what the most important thing part of the movie is that Saul gets through his grief because he loved his granny, his noni, so much. And I think the main takeaway from that is that love is the light in the movie. So I think the main takeaway is that love never goes away. So if anybody ever has lost somebody, they might leave, they might not be with us anymore, but their love never goes away. So I think that's the most important thing. So in Saul, through grieving his noni, he goes into this world, and this world is created of, or create like, is basically her life and the way we represent her life, because your life is so varied and long, right? So when Saul's granny died, she was in her I think she was in her 70s. So she's had this long life and known all these people from when she was a little baby, from when she was a kid to a teenager and an adult. And the way we represented that was with a scrapbook. So the world Saul goes into is made up of all the little trinkets and photos and textures that made up her life. So if you look in the background, you'll see photos, and you'll see crossword puzzles, and you'll see stamps and train tickets. And these are all the things, all the little tiny things that created one big life. Thank you for the interview. That was lovely.